Hey everybody, hope everybody's having a good day. I'm putting this video up kind of chasing the other one. I know it's a little late getting out, about what I do like about DrawPlusx8. Now I recently had a pretty bad experience with them as a company and a group, but again, my experiences should not waver your decision if you're going to try the software or not. It's just I had a difference of opinion with somebody. I was not in a fairly good mood. I was trying to get something answered, and I had a bunch of jokers want to break my stones, and instead of helping me, they thought they were being funny, cute, and these people obviously like jokers in their forums. So just if you go to get help that way, because that's the only way you seem to be able to get help from these people, just be forewarned. Because I've been in forums many times, and that was just unacceptable. I mean, if you get the terminology wrong, let's just say, hey, look, this, that, and the other. But I'm going on with a rant, and I do apologize. Let's get back on track, shall we? But again, I had a bad experience. Doesn't mean that you guys will. So if you guys decide after this video, okay, there's more to like than not to like, then hey, please go ahead and give it a try. Because I like the software, I just don't like them personally. But let's get on with it. One thing I like is when you come over here to this tool here, you have a lot of shapes. Now, some software ships with some shapes, but some of them are not as dynamic as what you got here. Like, for example, with the shield here, I can draw this out, and then I can use the slider down here to change the style real quickly and easily. So like if I'm looking for something that looks like that, then boom, I got my shield real quick and easy. I like that. And I see everything defaults to points back here again. That obviously is not a sticky thing that you can do when you're doing the options like I showed before, where you can go to here and uncheck that where it will actually go to inches. But that's fine. I'll leave it in points because most of the time I design in points unless I'm doing something for like a friend of mine where I have to do engraving where I have to know the actual line thickness because of the bits. But moving on. But I really do like that. It is really a cool touch. It's really neat. Also, these shapes can be affected by the brushes here. I think I showed some of these in a video. If not, let me go ahead and look at the brushes real quick. See, they give you quite a few brushes you can use here. You could do like nature, grunge, a whole bunch of different ones. If you wanted something like that to run across the brush, you can just go here to brush stroke and just pick a brush stroke out of here. Like the Milky Way there, see how it instantly follows around that line that you see in that blue line is actually just a vector shape. So I was actually click off of it. See, now you can see the Milky Way thing I chose over here, and that works for any of these over here. Like if you're trying to do like an embroidery design, for some of those who might use this for like they're trying to make a design or something to do on the sewing machine to help give them an idea what it's going to look like. There you go. There's what it would look like with like an X stitch. So like I said, it's pretty neat what all you can do. Let's go ahead and kill that. Another thing I like is on a vector tool here, a lot of the times you just got to click or you got to pre-select up here what size you want. With this software, and it's not just with this software, I've also got Craft Artist for my wife to help her with some of her crafts and stuff. Both products do this, and I really like this. And so like if I'm visualizing, okay, I want a certain letter height, I can just click and drag. Instead of making a box, see the outline of the letter A? That's telling me how big that text is going to be when I release the mouse and start typing. So if I release the mouse and type, notice how it's about the same height as that A was. So you guys that have to kind of drill up and down or move the text around or deform it, this is a quick way of placing it and saying, okay, that's about the right size I want. Then you can finish transforming it if you need to. I really like that feature. Some people may or may not, but I really do like that feature. You can also these are predefined text paths that you can put text on. You can also put text on a path like any other program. Like I believe Inkscape will let you do it. I'm pretty sure it will. It's been a while since I used Inkscape. Illustrator I know will do it. CorelDRAW definitely does it. So yeah, I mean you can put stuff on paths. So That's also pretty awesome here. Also here, because this does allow you to put an outline on it, this little point right here, this little brush, will still work. So if you wanted to make this really huge, for example, like this probably is not the best font for this. Let's find something kind of rounded, maybe like that. Whoop, did it? It has a serif on it, it looks like. Let's find something like balloonist, maybe. Whoop. It's not changing it. Okay, now I gotta select it first. That's my fault here, guys. Not quite done with my coffee yet. But let's go up here and choose something that's going to be a little bit more. I know the flickering's probably driving some of y'all nuts. There we go. Okay, let's go back to the colors here. Let's remove the front color. And let's put an outline on it. Let's see, 100% transparency. Line, here we go. We're going to put on a brush. And we'll say, what can we put on here? Not an eyelet stitch. Let's do a stitch like that. And see, it's too big. What you can do is just come right over here to where it's right here and just make that smaller. So now you got that look right there of like the text has been stitched to fabric, for example. So again, you could do this to kind of a cool little trick and everything else, and everything is pretty dynamic. That is a good set of things I really like about this program. So let's go ahead and kill that. Another thing I like, I have to put something on here, so let's just go over here and we'll do a circle, for example. I'll do a perfect circle by holding shift. This FX right here that I couldn't use before, look at all these cool effects you can do. You can do drop shadows, reflections. I mean, you guys can pause the video here and read what all this thing can do. This is pretty neat. These are Photoshop type effects that get rendered. Now these are raster effects, but they get rendered pretty freaking quickly. Blurs, 3D effects, 3D bump map. Like for example, we could put a bump map in here and you can see how it gives it an instant texture. You go to function, noise, 3D lighting. So I mean, you can get pretty, advanced with this. Like you can put, some stripes in it. Some things work a little better than others, but you could check this out on your own. But I'm just showing you could do that real quickly and easily here. We'll take that off. You could do trail, color fill, bevel, and emboss is a very popular effect that can be used. Inner bevel. So we'll make that depth a little bit more pronounced here. Excuse me. You can barely see it because of the color I chose with the object, but you can have it scale with the object. So if we go OK, let's choose a different color here. There we go, darker blue. Now you can see that bevel a little bit better, and you can control the bevel. And because we have it scaling with the object, see if I transform it or scale it in real time, see how it recalculates that raster effect and puts it right back on there. That is pretty neat. And of course, if you do something different with the effects here, like mess with these handles here, like make a pizza pie or a pie shape, see how it bevels that too almost instantaneously. That's pretty dang good. So yeah, that's another thing I like, is all those effects. Awesome. The other thing I do like here, we'll do a different shape here. Let's do maybe a quick flash here. I haven't really played with that one. Here we go, do that. Let's change the color here. Let's make it a red color. Take the outline off. Here we go. You can do an instant 3D with that. See, with just one click, I've got a pretty cool 3D, and you can move it around. Now in Illustrator, last Illustrator I used, which is CS6, unless you have a pretty powerful little machine, this kind of hurts. Even with me cranking it up to 300 dpi on my kind of mediocre machine I got, it still ran pretty nicely. You could go in here and change things like the bevel, the depth, the inner, the outer. So I mean, you could do a lot with this shape to really customize it. There's also other things you can choose here. You can choose where the lights are, any lathing, textures. So really, I mean, you can really do some pretty nice things for your design with that. Pretty neat. I like that. We'll just remove that and see it instantly. I can remove it. That's really awesome. The other tool I like is it doesn't work as well as Illustrator's, but I'm glad they put it in here, and it does seem to work sometimes, is a shape builder tool. And the thing about that, and I'll show you that just real quick on a very simple shape. We'll take a circle here, we'll make actually an oval, and we'll do a circle here. So like if I want to connect these shapes, yeah, you can come down here to the panel, select both of them, and do an add function. Or you could just grab this little tool right here, go all the way through it like that, and click. Just click and drag through it. Once you do, and just let go, you got a very nice shape. You can undo it. So you can even just click here and see what it does. It creates the shape, but there's still some things kind of wrong with this tool, because with the Adobe tool, I have to give Adobe credit where credit's due. It doesn't do malformations like this. So this is kind of something you got to keep in mind when you're using this tool. If I really want precise shape building, I will probably, for now, until Serif fix it, I'm not going to let them know that it's wrong, because I got kind of chewed out in the forums and everything else. Again, not getting into that, but right here, I would use these functions here to do the subtraction if I really need to do the subtraction instead of just that one click. Because see, there's the shapes before. I just do one click here and it just deforms the living crap out of it. So just keep that in mind when you're using these tools. But I do like how they did put that in there, and if you're just going to like do a quick weld on something, it is great for that. You got transparency, which is awesome. You can adjust it like you do in CorelDRAW and everything else. Let's see here. We'll just pick something here. I'm just picking a photo. Alright, cool. As you can tell in a lot of my photos, I like a lot of classic cars. I wish I could own one, but that's never going to happen in my lifetime. The only classic cars I'll ever own is going to be like the little die-cast miniatures you can get at the hobby shop or whatever. The thing I really do like about this is they do give you some very basic photo editing. Unlike CorelDRAW, where they try to dump you in something else, they do have some built in, but for a lot of the stuff that this can do, Corel will try to dump you off into Photo Paint, which is fine. Sometimes you need that. Illustrator, the only way it can do it is to dump you off into Photoshop or whatever you got for your external editor. This one here, excuse me, you can do a lot of pretty cool editing straight in the program, and you never really have to leave it. I mean, it launches like a sub program, but you're still here. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. So you can change, you can recolor the picture, which will launch PhotoLab, which we'll get into in just a second. You can do some basic adjustments here. Auto contrast, tonal range, you can make it brighter, darker, increase or decrease the contrast. And if you have red eye, you can just do the red eye right here. And if you want to make one color transparent, you can do it here. But I warn you guys, unless you got really good contrast or very little, no jaggies around the object you're trying to save, don't use this option, because it's going to not give you as good of an option as you going into PhotoLab or maybe even trying Cutout Studio against it. So with that little warning, let's keep on going by. I still like that they got it right here, so if I got a real clean, crisp object, I could get it done quickly. PhotoLab is basically like a small miniature, I guess you can say Photoshop built into this. And as you see, it loads pretty quickly. You got some basic editing over here. This is in favorites. You can also put your own favorites over here. You got some other stuff you can do, like pop art. You can click real quick and see it changes it to look like pop art, and you can change the halftone size. Right now the radius is humongous. We can adjust that down. There we go. And then you can choose the screen. You can change the screen angles here. You can change the curves and everything else here. See, and this also loads a thing called a trial zone with this kind of a recipe here. And if I want to commit to it, I'll click this and it'll move these up into the stack here. But if I don't want to commit to it, all I have to do is, just leave it out or anything else, and it will just go away. If I want to see what it looks like before an adjustment, I just click on the little box here. It takes a second for the computer to kick it up, but as you can tell, I mean, there's some slight differences. Or hey, what does the halftone look like? You know. So really quickly you can do that, and if you click commit, like I said, it adds the filters to this file. But I'm not going to commit to this, so I'm going to just kill each one of these little filters out here and return it to normal. You also got adjustments over here. You got some quick ones over here. Some of them are already over here, like the lighting filters are already over here. White balance is already over here. Curves, unsharp mask is already over here. But you can add vibrance and clarity, noise reduction, scratch remover. Like I said, there's a lot of neat ones over here. Depth of field is a pro edit that you can put over here. Like if I wanted to really blur this out, I can actually demo that one in just a second. Chromatic aberration, that's where the light does not focus correctly through the lens, and you sometimes get a purple or a cyan or magenta fringe on something. This will help reduce that. You change it to black and white film threshold. You could do quite a bit of things here. And then you also got effects like artistic. You can make things look like oil paintings. All sorts of different things. Please go through here at your own, at your own leisure. And I want to show you this that's really neat real quick. Is over here you got this little cog, and you can quickly add something that's over here into here. Like I was telling you, the best way to do that, popping out one color to try to get your object real fast, would be to do it through here. Well, what I would do is I'd click on the little gear, go down to other, go down to CSO. Now see, CSO has already got black. See how it's already started to pop the black. But the reason why I say do it here instead of out in the program is that tolerance slider. That would let you choose how many different shades up or down that you can pop before it does, and it gives you a little bit better selection. Like right now, if I was to choose my tolerance up, see how the selection grows? See how more and more things that are grays and or blacks are now removed with that color square. So I'll bring it back down to where it was roughly, about 11 or 10. But see, I can grab this dropper and say, okay, I want the grass. And now I can start, getting rid of the grass. See how a lot more of the grass is gotten rid of? Yeah, it's getting rid of some of the stuff on the car and stuff, but see, it's gotten rid of it through the windows here and everything else. So that could be a viable function to maybe help pop the car out of the background if you want to try that way. But it works best on solid colors or gradiated colors of the same tone. In other words, if it's like if it's black going to gray, for example, this will work pretty well with that. But just be careful, because if you got anything that has that same range in your object you're trying to save, well, it's going to remove it too. Let's just go ahead and remove that. And up here you still got like red eye removal, but this one here is a spot repair tool. This will let you remove spots and little things on an object real quick and easy through here. You don't have to take it to Photoshop to try to clone or heal. You could do it right through here. This is a clone here. So this acts like a band-aid tool or the healing brush over in Photoshop. This is your clone. You got before and after, zoom tools, histogram, so you can kind of watch that. You can zoom to rectangle, zoom in and zoom out. But yeah, this thing here, guys, is pretty neat. And like I said, you can do a lot of nice things without having to leave the program. And I told you I was going to use depth of field. See how it puts over in the trial field? You could do radial, you could do radius, focus distance, and everything. I see it's focusing right up here, but I want to focus like on the nose of the car, so I need to click this. I need to grab that little thing. Here we go. And I will put it right on the nose of the car. See, now it makes it look like it's miniature. And I could do the radius. I can bring the radius up a little bit. On the focus distance, I can change that. That's really too tight. Let's bring it out a little bit. Maybe I got the wrong end of it here. We'll see. Yep, that's the right end of it. We'll go down to here. Let's see here. Oh, excuse me, guys. We can adjust this till we get what we roughly want there, and if we want to commit, we can choose a different type of gradient. We could do a linear, radial. You can adjust some more of the stuff here. If I really want to commit that in, I can commit that in by clicking the commit. Now you can see depth of field is now one of my effects up here. And if I was to bring this back out into the program, it'll actually bring this out. And the cool thing is I can always come back in here and adjust it. Or I can just deactivate the filter if I don't want it. I'm like, okay, I like that better. No harm, no foul. So again, really nice feature. Let's see, save changes in image. No, okay, there we go. Cutout Studio, real quickly, we'll go into this. What this will do is let you try to cut this out without doing without a lot of fuss or muss. What you can just say is, okay, I want to discard, click your way around the image, and you can click and drag as well. Depends on how you got the tolerance set. Will depend on how much this grows or shrinks. This kind of works like the quick selection tool in Adobe Photoshop. Sorry for the promised myself I'd try to stop that, but I keep doing I'm just kind of painting right here real quick, because what I'm trying to do is save the car. Now it probably just been quicker for me to paint the car in this instance, but I'm just showing you a simple workflow that this could be used for. Now it depends on how rough of a selection you want. Now most of the time you want a clean selection, so you're going to spend a lot more time than I am in this demo, but as you can tell, I mean, as I click through here, I got stuff that's still selected of the background, and some of the car got selected. Well, if some of the car gets selected, that's what this other brush up here does, is it will do a keep. And you can kind of click in here and say, okay, I want to keep all this, and start bringing it down. Now if you want to see the status of what you got going on, that's what these three buttons do. This one shows you what's selected in green, what's selected in red. So say like, okay, I don't want any of that grass down here. I can just paint that till it goes to red. That's one way you can do it. I will say this is not as refined as some of the other tools I've seen in other programs, and I'm not busting on them, but it is pretty hard to do the calculation because of the different hues and everything else of colors. But you could do tinted, but you can also do transparent. This is what your cutout's going to look like right now. And that's not too good. So what you could do is you can go back to here and say, okay, I still need the tire down here, so I can kind of click down here and try to get my tire back. This tire over here is gone. To be honest, on this car like this, because of the complex background, I probably would use a pen tool to pop it out. But I'm just showing you real quick that you can use a tool like this to get it, and you can even use it in any mode. Like for example, I'm going to do that, but see, it's going to bring back that shadow. But as you can tell real quickly, I'm able to do a pretty good selection. Now when you do your output, you can do what's called an alpha edge bitmap, which is basically like a mask in Photoshop, where it's a raster mask. It will allow you to still have some flexibility with it. So that's one option you could do. You can do what's called a vector crop mask. Now this is like a vector mask in Photoshop, where instead of using pixels to hide and show what you want, this actually will draw a vector line around the object, which still can be manipulated to cut the object out. And I'll just do that real quick just to show you that, and you can choose how much it's feathered, inflates, deflates. I could do a preview, which is what we're doing right here. Now if I say, okay, this is good enough, okay. So if I click on this object, if we zoom in, I didn't do a good job cutting this, but you can see that there is now a vector line going all the way around my object. That can be edited with the with the tools up here, the node edit tool, and then you can add points and stuff with the pen tool. So let's reverse that, go back to this, and then of course you got auto trace. Now like I said in my other demo real quick, This does not have center line, which most people do not use that much anymore, but I use it because of me helping a friend with an engraving machine, and sometimes that center line trace really does help in that instance. But you choose closely what you got here. Do you have a black and white type of image, including just a basic scan image that's been done of like a document, logo trace, or photo trace? I'm going to say photo trace here, and of course it gives you a display of how it's going to work over here. I always got these little help panes, which is very nice because this does function different than the other traces. It works. It does the same thing where it tries to trace everything into a vector object, but the way it goes about it is a little different. Because unlike the other ones that have live previews, every time you mess with these things over here, you gotta click that trace button. That's the one negative thing, like I said in the other demo, is you gotta click trace, but I'm kind of glad that they got this here, so if I want like a quick and dirty trace, I can get it done. Let's see, smoothing, no. Let's see, yeah, I want to get this a little smoother here. Moment area here, we're going to crank this up just a little bit. Sample optimization. Just do a few little things here and let it retrace. But you can keep going until you get a trace that you're happy with. You can also merge colors together, like for example, if I want all this green and this grass to be one color, you can go down to adjust and you can merge colors together, like I could do that if it's not a big part of your design. So as you can see real quickly, I can kind of merge some of this grass and get it out of here, so that way I can kind of get a cleaner trace of what I'm looking for. So this is a pretty neat little tool. As I'm just clicking and dragging to do this, guys, but I suggest going from the color you want to keep to the color you want to remove, because otherwise it's going to reverse it the other way. Like I like this lime green better than this, so I'm going to go this way. But as you can tell, I mean, it just real quickly does the job, and you can real quickly clean up something like this to help reduce the amount of nodes and curves that you have in the final trace. I'm just going to keep going here real quick. I mean, like I said, this tool is pretty quick. Like for example, if I don't want that highlight on the car, I can go from this orange to that light color and it removes it. See how quick I can just kind of remove things to, that's how quick that this tool can work. So I mean, you can clean it up if you want to or anything else. I'm going to say for now this is okay. I'm going to accept it, and it comes right back out, and it comes out grouped, as you can tell by the little badge here. So you can ungroup it, pull it apart if you need to, whatever you need to do. I'm just going to go back a few times, and we'll just go ahead and kill that. Let's see, that's pretty much it. I mean, the brush tool, like I showed in the starter edition, is the same in this one. It works fantastically fast. I can take, let's go into like a painting one. We'll do like a bristle brush here. We'll do a pink color, it don't matter, I guess. I mean, look how fast that is. I mean, that's pretty dang quick. And if you have a tablet setup, you can do that. And even if you don't have a tablet setup, if you're wanting to adjust these strokes, and this is pretty neat, they got a pressure tab. Let's see, it's not open on mine over here, so maybe I need to go over here to see it. Nope, this is just to set up the tablet, which I'm not going to do in this video. Here it is, it's down here. You can set up a pressure profile. See, it goes from small to large, and see what it did to the stroke. It made it small to large. You can even make your own, like, okay, small, large, small, right there. So if you don't even have a pen tablet, but you kind of want to get that more, media feel, you can do that here. So I mean, like I said, there's a lot to like here, guys. It's just, I just got burned a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, I still like their product, and I'm still probably going to use it for a lot of the stuff that I do, because it is quick and I can get in and out pretty easily. But anyways, those are just some of the features I like real quick. I demoed, let's see, that one. Oh, there's one other one I want to show super quickly, and I'll let you guys get back to your regularly scheduled day. is this neat little tool right here, the replicate tool. Why would you want this? Well, for example, so like if you're doing work, let's go ahead and click on this. So like you're doing work and you want to make sure that nobody whoops. I hate my keyboard. I can't find my home row without looking down. Because the little raised areas on that keyboard are not up too well, and I'm having a heck of a time. Okay, we'll just remove the outline here, and this here we'll do in a gray. Let's see, we'll just 126, between 126 to 128. Reason why I want to do this, guys, is because if you're going to do a watermark, you want to try to make sure it hits all three channels. Because if you do something like in color, somebody can take your artwork and go through the channels and find the cleanest one and pop it that way and get your artwork that way. And if you do it with all three channels, kind of like the same weight or same color, then it makes it a lot harder for them to try to take your artwork and try to go somewhere else with it. And that does happen, unfortunately. Alright, we're going to do like this. We're going to say we're going to go to about 27 degrees. That'll be fine. And what you can do, with your object selected, you can select this. And now I can say, okay, I want, let's see, what do I want to do? How many rows? We'll just 3. And see, that's columns. I'm sorry, I'm rows. Okay. But notice here, you know, how it's quickly duplicating that object. And that is what I think is really freaking neat. Now, if they start colliding, yeah, see, it's starting to collide, so I'm going to bring this back down a little bit. Let's do it again. But you just adjust this to however you want. But see, the reason why I would say you would want this or use this tool in this mode is, see, I created all these objects that I can overlay onto my artwork. Okay, and once it exports out, it'll have this watermark over it. Now, if you don't want the watermark to be this pronounced, you can come over here to your opacity, of course, and lighten it down or change your blend mode to however it reacts with the rest of the design. The reason, like I said, the reason why you mainly want to do this is to protect your rights as an artist from being messed around with other people. Because unfortunately, there are people that will do that to you. Matter of fact, that same friend I did some work for recently had that happen to him, and I feel really bad because man put some hours into his artwork and out the door it went. But you could do something like this, and it doesn't even have to be this example here of a watermark. If you want to try to replicate things, you can do it that way. The other cool thing about this, let me zoom out here. See, I made way too many in the replicate. I'm just going to say 10 here and 10 here. Still want to, it's not honoring that, so I need to do 10 and enter. Here we go. You got to hit enter. It seems like the magic trick here. I can actually go 5 here. Here we go. If you hit this button here, you'll actually see this one here will keep making more as you drag out, or it will remove as you drag in. See, so I can kind of narrow this down. But you can also change the spacing. So if I do this here and I drag out, see how it changes the spacing in and out? So if you can't get the spacing right up above there, you can kind of drag this out to you get a cool looking little pattern kind of like that, maybe. And you can space it, you can change the replication. So this tool is pretty neat that you can do that with, and you can also do it with any objects in here. In other words, if you want like make a pattern of squares, you can do that, like on a chessboard, for example. So it's or a victory flag for like racing checkered flag. So you could do it that way. So again, there's lots to like in here, guys. Even though I may have had a little bit of a bad experience, and I'm going to personally write a letter to them. That way they get their letter, and I'm going to be professional, guys. I mean, I got a little mad at the forums and everything else, but I'm going to be professional and say what I have to say and everything. But, you know, because of me having a rough time doesn't mean that you guys will. So please, I mean, if you think that this is going to work for you, even though you watch both videos, the good one, which is this one, and the one I found some things that I really wish they would fix, use your own judgment, guys. Don't be a drone and just say, okay, he said it's good, I'm gonna, you know, spend my money. Don't do that. Always evaluate, guys. Always research, evaluate, and then if you want to pull the trigger, pull the trigger. As far as in a buying purchase, don't shoot somebody. Don't do that. Anyways, guys, this is just, like I said, a quick thing of some of the stuff I really like. There's a lot more to like about the program. There's also, they did some pretty good videos on their own. Check them out. There's a few other people also doing videos on YouTube about this program. So again, check them out. Alright, guys, I appreciate y'all's time. As always, have a good one. I'm going to come up with something else coming up. I'm not sure what yet, but stick around and we'll see what I can crank out next. Alright, guys, have a good one.